T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Laura DeFranco. Welcome to Brave Healing, Words That Change the World. My mission is to start a revolution of brave healers who are sharing their stories with the world. On this podcast, we're going to have the conversations you crave, the ones that create a healing vibe, a ripple. So afterward, don't forget to come find me after this for some more inspiration at bravehealer.com. And on Facebook, you can find me at Brave Healer by Laura DeFranco. Hey, you guys, my big announcement of the month is that I have a new book coming out June 1st from Possibilities Publishing Company. It's called Brave Healing, A Guide for Your Journey, and you're going to find the pre-order link on Amazon right now, so hurry over and get your copy. And if you happen to be in the DC area or near it or can be near it, save August 11th on your calendar and join me for a book talk, workshop, poetry, open mic extravaganza at Johnny Pistola's from 7 to 10 p.m. You're going to find the details on my friend Charles's Facebook page called Love, Pain, and Poetry. So go check that out on Facebook. I would love to see some of you guys there. So now I'm going to invite you all to take a deep breath with me and really arrive here in the moment, in your body. Let yourself feel the words today. Notice how a word or a tone or a topic feels inside of you. Feeling is healing. And today, I'm welcoming Toni Mc Cannon on the show. Toni is the owner and founder of Peaceful Glen Metaphysical Solutions. She's here to talk about using tarot for everyday practical purposes, such as enhancing personal relationships or integrating tarot into a variety of corporate or small business situations. Toni offers tarot card readings at a variety of settings like fairs, festivals, farmers markets, pop-ups, boutiques, wineries, and coffee shops. And she is available for private consultation, parties, grand openings, product launches, and fundraisers. Toni became interested in tarot in 2003, and after retiring from the federal government, she began reading professionally in 2014. Toni is trained in Reiki, integrated energy therapy, and crystal healing. She has also studied hand analysis, feng shui, dowsing, runes, and psychometry. Toni encourages us to infuse your project, whether personal or professional, with creative thought. Nobody needs to know you use tarot. So that was a long intro, Toni. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, listen. So first of all, I have dabbled in a lot of healing modalities, but I am not even sure I pronounced a couple you had listed correctly.
No, you're good. I think you're good.
Okay, well, briefly, what is dowsing?
Dowsing, that is when I have a couple of copper dowsing rods, and you hold them in your hands and they rotate, and they can either point in a direction or they can cross over, and you can use them to find lost things. Up in New England and other places, they use, I'm not sure what type of wood it is, but they use that Y-shaped piece of wood to locate water and wells. Like that.
Okay.
So that's basically dowsing.
Okay, great. That I actually know about that water thing. That's
Okay.
something I've heard of. So I just hadn't heard the word before. Okay, so same question for, am I pronouncing it right? Runes?
Runes, yes. Those are the old Nordic runes. Actually, we're coming to you on Bluetooth, and that little symbol on Bluetooth is actually a combination of two runes. But that's also a form of divination, and you can cast the runes, throw them out, or you can pick them out of a basket or a bag and, have your message for the day. Or you can do something similar with tarot cards where you do a past, present, future, mind, body, soul, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Okay, last one was psychometry.
Psychometry, that's the one where you hold something of a personal nature that belongs to the person, like usually it's a ring, something they wear all the time, or something they have a close relationship with. But yeah, you're holding a personal item and you're just getting a reading off of that, anything that pops into your head. It's fairly straightforward, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for explaining those different ones to me. I love learning, new things. It's like you learn something new every day. It feels good, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how we use tarot as the ultimate idea processor. Those are your words.
Okay, yes. I actually stole that from an author. He's got a couple books out. It's a couple of books by Mark McElroy, and you can use that for a variety of situations, whether it's work or romance or just self development. But you can take the deck, and whether you just want to do something simple with what they call the 22 major arcana. That's the Empress and the Emperor and the Magician, those cards like that. And if you just kind of want to just flip them over and just the first thing that pops into your head, it's kind of a brainstorming exercise, write it down, don't filter it, don't, just write what comes into your mind. And if you get a couple of ideas, that's great. If nothing comes, move on, go to the next card, and just keep doing that. And whether you want to use the whole deck, which is generally 78 cards, or if you just want to use a portion of the deck, that's totally up to you. Depends on how much time you want to spend on the exercise. And then go back to those cards where you didn't get an idea from. Try to maybe go through them once again. And again, it's okay if nothing comes to you. You just didn't connect with that card. It's perfectly fine.
So, okay, that makes me wonder, how many tarot decks do you own?
I have quite a few. I'm a bit of a collector, but as far as what I actually use in practice, when I read for people, I have a primary deck that's called Tarot Affirmations. And what that does is it takes all the cards and it gives you about a half a dozen affirmations per card to work with. So, and it even takes the tough cards. There are some challenging cards and cards that present obstacles for people to overcome. And it even takes those cards and puts a positive spin on them.
So you said something in the last couple sentences about 78 cards. Is that a usual number for a tarot deck?
That is a typical tarot traditional deck, yes.
What is there any meaning behind the number itself?
Well, what it is it's kind of set up a bit like a regular playing card deck, and they have the number, the what they call the pip cards. Those are numbered ace through 10, very much like a standard playing card deck. Uh-huh. And then they have what they call the court cards, and they have pages, knights, kings, and queens. They may be named a little differently depending on what deck you're using, but the role and the qualities are generally the same across the board. So that makes up the 56 cards of what they call the minor arcana. And then they have the major arcana, which is 22 cards usually. Some authors throw in a couple of extra major arcanas because they include the seven virtues like temperance and strength, and they kind of reflect those values in life. And some people, somewhere along the line, tarot kind of compressed a few together. So some of them might have a few more major arcana that re-expand them.
Okay, so oh my gosh, I have so many questions today. You're awesome. You're answering like every single question. So, but this is going to sound like a stupid question. I just don't know
Okay.
enough about this, but I don't know the word arcana. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That means secrets, I believe, is
Ah,
the actual, direct meaning of it. So major secrets, minor secrets.
got it.
It just, it just, it just happens to be the vocabulary that the folks who came up with the system that they attributed to it.
Got it. Okay, thank you. So, one of our listeners actually texted me a question for you, and she wants to know if you can tell her the difference between oracle and tarot cards.
Okay, oracle cards, it's kind of like the analogy is like this. Tarot cards are oracle cards, but not all oracle card decks are tarot decks. It's kind of like with dogs. All chihuahuas are dogs, but not all dogs are chihuahuas.
Ah, that's a great way
um,
to put it.
it's kind of like that. And oracle cards, they have quite a variety, just as tarot card themes vary quite a bit, so do oracle cards. But oracle cards tend to have, they can have 78, or they can have, but the number tends to vary greatly, 44, 56, 60. I mean, they're just all over the map with how many cards are in an oracle deck. But you
Okay.
can do very fine readings with an oracle deck just as well as you can with tarot.
Okay, very cool. So you wrote about using tarot as a visual brainstorming of sorts. Can
Right.
you tell me more about that?
More about that, yes. Like I mentioned earlier, when you're sort of flipping through the deck, I use the illustrated decks. Usually they're in the what they call the Rider-Waite Smith category. There's a couple of different camps in the tarot world.
Hmm.
I am firmly in the Rider-Waite Smith camp. And those are typically, as I said, fully illustrated decks, which means they have people and animals and plants, and they just have all kinds of scenery in there. And since we all come from different backgrounds, educational, social, economic, city versus country, we all have different things that we sort of bring to the table when we're doing a reading or having a reading. And when I use those decks for people, they look at those symbols and pictures, and it all means something different to each person. So yes, and so that's why I was saying when you were doing that brainstorming exercise, don't edit yourself. Don't let your that inner critic or anything else kind of stop you from just putting those ideas down on a paper. Just let it go and just write down everything, because you never know what little nugget you might find later on when you go back to review.
Yeah, this is awesome because this is how I help my writer people too. It's the same idea when you get a writing prompt. Sometimes it's easy to get stuck on the actual words of a prompt, or in this case, the card or the picture. But if you can manage not to censor yourself and just let what's coming through, it can be pretty magical.
Yes, and in fact, there is a book out there, and I don't know, I cannot remember the name of the author and the exact name of the book, but there is one. I think it's called Tarot Tells the Tale, but you can use it to help you write books. The court cards are the characters,
Mm,
and the pip cards are the situations.
nice.
And I'm trying to remember how they work the major arcana in there, but or you could probably just use the characters and the situation cards.
That's very cool.
For
That I'm sure a lot of my writer listeners are going to be interested in that. And you said you think it's called Tarot Tells the Tale.
I think that's the
That's
title.
a tongue twister.
Yes.
um, so if somebody wanted to dabble with this and was going to buy their very first deck, do you have a recommendation?
I do, I'm a little biased because this is how I learned tarot is to go out and because some of the other decks might be a little bit difficult to grasp the concept of. Other people might take to some of the other deck types. They just, it's all individual. They have what they call the toss deck.